Alright, I'm gonna go grab it. It's not gonna be flat, so I'll be right back. Come back, sir. Alright. So, this game is all about, like, it's about story and, like, the butterfly effect, how everything you choose results in something else. And I've already done a couple, let's see. I've done 4. I've only done the ones that actually means things. It's just kind of see, like how those like drive key now. I think I can win the game. I don't know what this is another picture of this stuff. Anyways, back to choices. Alright, so I'm gonna go with.
Every child knew about the Sky Ripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces deep. And then, this Emperor's horrific sacrifices had brought it back to the surface. Renato wasn't exactly sure how to use the legendary weapon. But surely, there must be some way to do it without provoking another catastrophe. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon into the deep places of the Earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
But I had only the core. And, so I guess with the... I don't think I've actually put it all together.
As he set foot on the island, Renato couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lupino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Renato felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Renato never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. Shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
I mean, there is stuff around. I don't want to spend all the time. All it is right now is ore.
With all this ore, Renato could forge a really great sword. He was a master forger. That probably wasn't the right word. I need more materials, thought Renato.
I just want to use one of the swords I already have. Alright, so like it won't let me select it. I don't know how to select the sword. I want this one. How do you select the sword? If I make it, I want to use it. It is making it noise. Shit, that's bad. Darn it. Isn't this stuck to the other sword? I mean, I don't think it really matters that much, but I still like to have it.
I really enjoy your content and subbed, and I'd like for you to check out my
Say goodnight,
channel
Gracie.
and maybe sub
Renato.
as I do
Wondering who
20
Gracie was.
giveaways every 100 subs I gain.
Okay, man. I think I got everything you just said. Might need to go to my settings and check everything out, because I can't really see what you said. It just kind of like reads it out to me. But yeah, I'll definitely check out your channel. You can always use it up. Let me check out it now, or not check out the channel now. But let me look at what you said. See broadcast settings. I have goat. Stand still, dog. Dog, you're not a dog. Can I like? No camera. Alright. I think that's better. Now? Alright. Ada, I really enjoy your content and subs. I'd like you to check out my channel. Maybe that is too late.
Open, says me.
Oh. I have that door handle. Get up. No. It's like crazy. Take your time. There's certain swords open certain doors.
Hey, who do I have to kill to get a drink around here? You? Okay.
I remember how to play this game.
That had been his mistake before. Not trusting Zenobia's feelings for him. But how could he have known, after all these years of silence?
Truth behind the Skyrim for shouted. Gods are pretty cool. I can rely on that. I don't really agree on it at all. See, look, the blue sword. Now, how is that supposed to be? Is that just basically a shortcut? Let me get to that. There's something else that's back here. Free door. Better than nothing. Yes. It opens for everything. This one is a purple one. I have a purple one. Back
The
there,
new
there was a
pathway
blue.
made Renato curious.
There was a blue shoot, I dropped the mic thing. Blue door, and that is means a blue sword. Wait. Oh, you changed it now. Let's go. I'm glad I figured that out. Dude, I could have. Oh my gosh. This isn't crazy. Because now, I can just go through everything.
Wow, that was good. Was it good for you?
Big chest. What'd you have to do? Level 3, nice. Yeah, let's take Go to sleep, go. Go to sleep.
His mother had never let him wave his sword around at home. He guessed he was still compensating for that.
Alright.
He found a Superman issue #1 in mint condition in a jar he'd broken. He planned to keep breaking things until he had the whole series.
That's just a door. I can't. That's it. What is this? Oh, I've already been this way. What? I'm supposed to get
Boy, if looks could kill.
This is a fun game. Did I die? I died. At least I'm glad that I figured out how to change swords. Now, but I'm probably not.
Sometimes, at home, he'd wave his sword around for hours.
Well, oh. Anyway, not the yellow. Apparently the way you can count it. Oh man. How do I get more
Said Archimedes, and I shall open a gate. That could have gone
Holy
better,
cow.
thought Renato as he died.
died twice in this thing. I like the fire sword. Fire sword is cool. sliced that one in half, honestly. Purposely sliced it. Yep. I need to check those out next time I see them. Yep.
Don't look down, he thought.
Alright. Sword energy. This is it.
There it was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers dreamed, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him. It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself. Only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices. And he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core.
Get it. Also, I might do. Oh shoot. I'm gonna do 30. I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna end it, and then I'm gonna start another game. This is our call.
Doubt sunk in before he was even out of sight of the Farfarer. Why had he chosen the Skyripper? It was the sort of path he'd always avoided. The path of responsibility, of seriousness. Had he grown up? He didn't feel grown up. He'd made this decision from his gut, like he always did. Somehow, he'd impulsively decided to stop being impulsive. Did that make any sense? It would be fun to try out that one. And here was a handy workbench.
Okay, seal breaker. Increases resistance to the... That's good. Attack speed increases your attack speed.
one raven. Another one called back, "Go, go, dying!" And they both laughed hysterically.
Armor. Oh dear, that wasn't good.
Like, it's a trophy to cut ravens in half, but I don't know how to do it. Oh, more. Nice. Oh,
that was always a rush.
There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
Of course there was a puzzle. You couldn't expect the Transcendent Emperor to bury a god's eye in a leather sack where anyone could pick it up. Patient.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark art, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus. Maybe Lupino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move. There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
Now this is a true, like, actual debate, because if the exclamation point means I haven't done either before. So, I am gonna give it time.
Well, of course. If you've just assembled a weapon out of legend that can exile gods from the world, you'd want to have a scientist or two look at it. And even if they disagreed and he had time, he could ask Calaveras himself. Yes, the observatory would be his objective.
A-Dub game. I'm sure to check out.
Why had the parts of the Sky River only surfaced now, thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had dismantled it? The mad Emperor Isengrim had performed terrible, bloodthirsty rituals to invoke the lost gods. Was that why these ancient artifacts were rising out of the ground? How perfect, then, that the Sky Ripper would reappear to be his destruction. And, hopefully this time, just his destruction. He'd once met a pirate captain. He used hooks to get around his ship. Oh, what was his name again?
Ravens in half is like, yeah, there we go. Right, I think that is. Let me look at the trophies real quick. I want to see what else I need to do. Right. Oh, that's not it. Alright, use every trick in the book. I don't know what all the tricks are. Taking care of yourself. Be careful, finish the level without taking damage from start to finish. I can try to do that. Unreal treasures. Anyway.
A legendary weapon was exactly what the rebellion needed. They were outnumbered. The once kind emperor had become a tyrant. But his ravens stayed loyal, for he fed them his victims, and the other animals were too frightened to rebel.
Renato shuddered at what the Emperor was trying to do. To bring back the lost gods, the Black Harvest, the Black Sun? No. He would stop that, Toad, no matter what the risk. Hey! Hey! I'm a Firefox, thought Renato.
Alright, do I do our new wind?
These platforms were great. Renato wanted one for his house.
If they didn't want their things broken, they really ought to make them stronger.
Renato was thrilled. The scientists seemed to think he'd put the Sky Ripper together right. But one Toad was worried.
Yeah, the Sky Ripper could tear a hole in existence itself. There are invisible strings that tie the universe together. If the Sky Ripper cut one, the hole would widen and widen until our whole existence fell into it.
Another Toad sighed.
Irving still believes in string theory.
At least go see Calaveras.
Yeah, said the worried Toad.
He knows more than anyone else has forgotten about the Transcendent Emperor.
If anyone could tell him how to use this weapon safely, it would be Calaveras. It was he who had told Renato how to find it in the first place. But maybe he had to give up on using it as a weapon. Maybe he had to go to the secret rebel base and ask the generals there what he could do with a weapon that he dared not use. One way or another, there had to be a safe way to use it. Well, he should have known he'd have to consult Calaveras again.
Oh, I didn't know you could skip it. Oh, that'd be great.
Maybe it was the cold. But after a few steps, Renato's optimism started to slump. What if Calaveras couldn't help? Did Renato dare use the Sky Ripper? Oh, he hated that he had chosen this path. It was so much simpler to rescue friends and attack enemies. Even if some of those friends were more trouble than his enemies, some of those enemies had been friends before and might be lovers after. No, okay. It wasn't all that much simpler. No.
Right, that's all.
Physics made his brain hurt. That, at least, he was sure of.
But I want another gem. I want another sword gem. Or not sword, but like energy. So that way.
Truth was, Renato really liked the sound of a sword made in the air.
Take a leap of faith, said the inscription.
Chest full of old banana peels. There had to be more. There was.
Now they're giving me energy more often.
Tried to focus on the now. The ravens who seemed everywhere all the time. Where did they hatch from? Were there giant raven hatcheries somewhere, or did they have families? Ooh, he didn't want to think about raven mummies raising their darling raven chicks. Yeah, Calveras would help. He would make Renato feel better about using the Sky Ripper. And then Renato wouldn't have to worry about ravens ever again.
Level
Renato hoped his mother wasn't watching.
Like it was something it. Oh my goodness.
He needed some way to break the ice with this wall, so to speak.
What? Activate it.
I wonder what happens if I go that way.
Oh. Another one. Oh. Not bad. Not too bad.
Renato had sacrificed a friend for the Sky Ripper. It would be worth it if he could bring a super weapon to the rebellion, but the scientists had ruined everything. Calaveras had never let him down.
Yeah, of course I can make it work better.
But when Renato explained about the strings, Calaveras grew thoughtful.
Oh, strings, you say? Well, the Arcana do speak of the ties that bind the world.
He drew many intricate symbols in the dirt.
Yeah, so, according to my calculations, each time you fire, I'm afraid there's a 1 in 120 chance you'll destroy the universe.
That's pretty good odds. That's like rolling, 21 dice and they all come up 6. What are the odds of that?
What? No! It's more like 2.716 in a row.
Anyway, with those odds, it won't happen if I use it just once, Renato said. Although he wasn't sure that was entirely right.
Yeah, that's not right. Each time you use it... Okay, look, just don't use it ever.
All right, I guess. As he sailed towards the fleet, Renato could see the drop ships of the rebels coming out of the clouds. This was it. The big battle. They could not afford to lose this one. What if it didn't go well? What if he had to use the Sky Ripper? Could he risk the entire universe in the throw of a dice? On the other hand, what were the odds of rolling 21? Or was it 2.71? 6s in a row. He had a feeling they were surprisingly good. That is, bad. Anyway, the odds were big. His brain was hurting again.
Okay, it's been 47 minutes already. Alright, this is probably the last thing to, so let's just go ahead and get this over with.
The battle was not going spectacularly well. What had the rebels been thinking? They'd been thinking he would bring the Sky Ripper, or the Iblis Stone, or that he'd sideline Zenobia somehow, or turn her. Couldn't he use the Sky Ripper just once? After all, if chances were 1 in 128, that meant he'd for sure be okay the first time. They'd get worse each time he used it, but the first time would be okay, right? He wasn't sure that it was right. So he didn't fire the Sky Ripper. He just brought it along, in case.
Now let's try not to get hurt. From my
The mysterious sword from the east made you so fast you could catch a fly with your chopsticks. If that's what you really wanted.
That thing, yeah. Okay. Why are they cold? Why? This is over something. Energy in the gym. Yes. Nice. I am using that one now. Something over here. Alright, let's see. What am I doing?
Someone had told him the odds didn't change just because you'd had a streak of good luck. His gut told him that was wrong, though. And he always listened to his gut. On the other hand, 128 chances to win. But one of them would destroy the universe. Ooh, that seemed a bit serious. Maybe he could defeat the Emperor without firing the Sky Ripper. Maybe he could bluff, but with a real weapon. Like in cards, when you had 3 knaves, but you pretended you had a fizbin. That could work.
He really wasn't making a dent in those shields.
Level up. We. 4. Oh, here.
Those shields were really very well made, weren't they?
I don't think I'll.
A very clever engineer named Elon Muskrat got his start making floating platforms. Not many people knew that.
How do we get over there? Alright, there was a accomplishment thing, like use everything. That. they get unlimited people, like keep that guy alive, because he obviously needs to survive it. And I died trying to. So I'm just gonna ignore that. Do it again. Where'd you get? Move! Stop! There we go. Alright. Gotta do something about it.
He set up the Skyripper and let it warm up. He would bluff if he had to. Zenobia came out, flanked by a very daunting platoon of ravens. You won't actually use that, she said in that annoying, I know everything because I'm a cat and you know nothing because you're just a fox voice she had. Or I know the odds. Good, because there's a real chance you could destroy the universe. No, not the first time I use it. The odds are too low. What? No. Yeah, sure. The first time, the odds are practically nothing. They only go up if I use it a bunch more times. No, but that's not how odds work. Didn't you pay attention in class? Now surrender, or I'll use it. Just once, he said. Don't.
He felt sure the odds were with him.
Yeah.
He had to go with his gut. That's what heroes do. Fire, he said. Please? The Skyripper fired. With a tremendous whoosh, the Emperor's flagship went up in flames. It was awesome.
Then he noticed.
Then he noticed.
There was a hole in the air. A blackness, like a tear in a parchment. Wind was blowing into it, widening it. It grew larger, and even larger. Crates fell upwards into it, and the world itself seemed bent, like the reflection on a curved mirror, as it poured into the ravenous hole. Ah, 1 in 128. What are the odds? Thought Fernando, and then everything fell into the hole and was gone.
Oh, again?
But he already had all the secrets he needed. He was sure of that. He must have not used them the right way. What was the best, worst mistake he could make? Probably trusting that
Alright,
traitor
thanks for
Latino.
watching. It's been a really, really long episode, almost an hour. Goodness. Yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this episode. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I doubt you'd watched all the way to the end, but I'd like to thank A-Dub for subscribing. It's always nice. So go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want to see. I'll try to make it happen. And as always, peace out.